Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the November 13th tropical update on the radar. And I sincerely hope this is going to be the last tropical edition of the radar this year, as I would really like to start covering some winter weather. But until we are done with tropical season, this is going to be our main focus. And as you can see, we have a disturbance here in the Caribbean, just south of Jamaica. 90% chance of development today, tomorrow, and through the next 7 days, which means is a statistical certainty that this is going to become Future Sara. And interests, of course, all on the northern and western Caribbean need to keep an eye on this. Central America, and I hate to say it, Florida. I know, you don't want to hear it. I don't even want to be reporting it, but nature cares not what we want. So let's take a look at this on the radar and what we can probably expect in a general sense. Keep it in mind, no low pressure center has been formed in the system just yet, so the models need to be taken with a grain of salt. The one certainty we can take away from all this, if you want to stop watching now, is that this is probably going to enter the Gulf somehow, whether it goes over the western tip of Cuba, the Yucatan Peninsula, or splits the goalpost and comes into the Gulf. That much is up in the air at this point, but it is going to enter the Gulf. The question is, how strong will it be, and where will it go from there? So let's look at our satellite so we can get an idea of what we're starting off with. And as you can see here on the satellite, we have a massive cluster of convection in the Caribbean, and most of it is off to the south of where they think the low pressure center is going to form, which is about right there in that little, about where my hand is roughly where they think the low pressure center is going to form. This might not be the case, as there was a huge red shaded area that covered basically everywhere from about where Kingston is on the map all the way to the Yucatan and a little bit over to the side here. This low pressure center they have here just off the coast of the Yucatan, not really going to be a factor in the system. The low pressure we got to worry about is going to be closer to Kingston. And so that means Jamaica or Cayman Islands or southern coast of Haiti, y'all are probably going to get a lot of rain. Same with Central America or around Guadeloupe and Puerto Caribes. I apologize, I butchered that name. But y'all are definitely going to see a lot of rain off this, regardless of its development. So let's look at the model forecast guidance. We're keeping in mind that I highly suggest you want more detailed information. Check out Mike's weather page. This is a fantastic resource with a lot of the models, detailed information, radars, watches and warnings that are up. This is a great resource if you want to get more information. But we're going to look primarily at the model forecast, but we're going to look at one thing here before we start looking at the models. And please bear in mind, take this with a grain of salt. Nothing is set in stone yet, but the models are suggesting that this is a distinct possibility. The intensity guidance. As you can see, a lot of these are suggesting Category 1 hurricanes, or many are getting to Cat 2, and a couple of, or about 2 or 3 outliers is suggesting Cat 3, possibly Cat 4. We cannot rule out these possibilities. We have seen it happen multiple times from this area. Hurricane Helene, Hurricane Milton, and Hurricane Raphael all made it to major status, basically starting in this general vicinity. We cannot rule this out as a possibility. Though, is it likely? I can't say for certain yet. There isn't even a low pressure, but the forecast seem to think it is, so we have to bear that in mind when we start making our preparations. Now, the forecast models, now that is where we don't have any clues at this point. All we know is it's going to get into the Gulf and probably hit Florida from there, but whether it's going to be a Yucatan hit first or a Cuba hit first or split the goalpost, it depends on your model, but we need a low pressure center to form. All we have is general ideas based on overall conditions. And these are the current models. Just about all of them, as you can see, have been going west in the Caribbean first, but they eventually turn north and enter the Gulf. And a lot of them have them going towards South Florida, but as you see with the clustering, we cannot rule out or northern wobble. So northern Florida is not out of the woods with us. I hate to say it, but we're not. We need to be watching it too. Because a lot of these models could be wrong, or it could shift north, or we could have other factors come in. So we have a front coming in from the northwest, and a high pressure currently that is sitting over us that's going to be moving eastward. Depending on how quickly both of those factors move will determine how quickly this thing goes, and how far north or how far south it goes. So we have a lot of factors here before we even have our low pressure center to start initializing models. We don't know where it's going to go, but these are in general agreement. This is where it's going to go. Future Sara is going to most likely hit Florida, and we cannot rule out that possibility. Will it fizzle out? Possibly. Will it be a Cat 5 in the Gulf? Not likely, because the Gulf waters are a little bit cooler. But if it's got that strength when it gets in there, it's not going to lose it quick, because waters in the Gulf are warm enough to maintain a strong tropical system. So with that, keep an eye on this. Please check your local resources and your local guidance if you start getting watches and warnings. The most important thing here is to be safe and don't be on the coast when these things hit, because storm surge is the most deadly part of any storm like this. We saw it happen in Helene with Keaton Beach, Deagle Beach, Cedar Key. In a lot of communities along the east coast or west coast of Florida. We saw it with Milton, or when it was impacting around Sarasota. The storm surge is the most dangerous part of this. Wind is not to be trifled with, but you can hide from wind. Storm surge, it's coming ashore whether you want it to or not. So, but let's keep an eye on this. Let's see how it goes and keep on top of it. And most of all, be safe. Don't be scared. And that's it for today's radar. Hopefully the next report will be reporting it sizzled out, but if not, check back here tomorrow morning and I'll give you the best information I can. Take care, bye bye.